Hey everyone, so in this video I want to talk about something that occurs pretty often in fandom, a pattern of behavior that we've seen with anti-shippers that really displays just how hypocritical they are and how arbitrary many of their arguments are. And that pattern of behavior is anti-shippers attacking gay ships more often than heterosexual or lesbian ships with similar dynamics. To give a basic example of what I mean, let's say we have 3 ships. All 3 ships have the same age gap or a certain problematic dynamic in common. The first ship is between 2 male characters, the second is between a male and a female character, and the third is between 2 female characters. More often than not, fanties will harass shippers of the first ship, the ship between the 2 guy characters. As for the other 2 ships, they'll either leave the other 2 ships alone for the most part, or they'll ship it themselves. Of course, I'm speaking of a general pattern here. Fanties aren't a hive mind. There may be some fanties who do condemn all 3 ships, but most of the time, many fanties are extremely hypocritical when it comes to this, and it's pretty clear from spending any amount of time in fandom spaces online and observing which ships get the most vitriol and which don't. And there was a tweet recently making its rounds, and the circumstances that I'm talking about were happening in the replies of that tweet. It is a perfect example of this hypocrisy, so I'm going to show a video capture that I took scrolling this Twitter thread, and I'll comment over that so we can go on this journey together. Visually, this video will probably be a bit boring because it's just me scrolling through quote retweets for like 8 minutes. I'm going to try to read a bit quickly so it doesn't drag on longer than that, so please feel free to pause throughout the video and read the tweets for yourself if I'm going too fast. So here's the tweet. It's someone talking about this ship dynamic that they like, ships that are like 1,000-year-old god of destruction and violence having that one human who they're completely enamored with, and the replies are people giving examples of ships that fit this dynamic. So we'll take a look at the first one. It's between 2 characters named Tomoe and Nanami from an anime called Kami-sama Hajimemashita. I looked at the ages of these characters, and he is over 600 years old, and she is 16 or 17. And we'll take a look at that. It's got 400 likes, so it's pretty well liked. And we'll look at the replies. It only has 6 retweets, so not a ratio. The replies are all positive. Oh my god, you're mine. My fave ship. I was thinking this too. Even the quote retweets are pretty positive too. People saying they miss them. So, people responding to that one positively. Let's look at one of the other examples in here. This is a good one. Yato and Hiyori from Noragami. I actually really love this ship in this anime myself. The ages of these characters. Yato is a 1,000-year-old god. Hiyori is 15 and 16 in the show. Let's see, it's got 17 quote retweets and 34 retweets, so not a ratio either, and 1,200 likes, so people really like this. And actually, I got distracted. We're going to look at this reply first. That's like an offshoot of this. This is Hanako and Nene from Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. She is 15 years old, I believe, and he is 50 plus years old chronologically. He's a ghost who died some 50 years before. The one reply is someone asking where it's from and how it looks cute. And, 500 likes, only 4 quote retweets, and the one quote retweet I can see is someone saying they're excited for season 2. Anyway, back to Yato and Hiyori. Again, replies are positive. This immediately came to my mind. This is what I was thinking of. Noragami so good. People are asking what anime it is. And then we'll go look back up at the people saying, well, I was waiting for this. Then we'll go back up and look at the quote retweets. Also positive. People saying, I love them. My heart goes sparkles. Yes, so true. All positive comments. People agreeing like, yep, this is a good ship. And this fits that dynamic. Screaming gifts. Even French people love it. Look at that. So the next one, pardon this jump cut, I had to jump straight to the direct link because it took me a while to scroll down and find it. But this is the one that I wanted to talk about. So this is 2 characters from an anime called Jujutsu Kaisen. And the ages of these characters, Sukuna is a 1,000-year-old cursed spirit, and Megumi is a 15-year-old high schooler. So look at this, 600 likes, pretty good, but 164 quote retweets and 63 retweets. That is a ratio. I will say a lot of the quote retweets and replies that will be up top that will be more recent are positive because by the time I saw this tweet, a lot of shippers who were in support of the ship had seen it and saw that the replier was getting dogpiled, so they were leaving positive comments, but you'll see what I mean when I say there are negative comments too. Let's go to the replies. Again, a lot of them aren't positive right off the bat, thankfully. But then we get to someone asking why, and here they go, ratio. Here's my fan cam, huh? Here's my fan cam. Y'all would be making AMVs 10 years ago. Someone pointing out what I'm pointing out here. And here we go. Our first Megumi is 15. Someone explaining, y'all, dude, it's anime. They're saying it doesn't really make it okay. and just people trying to argue with them and be like, hey dude, we're talking about anime here. Let's go and look at the quote retweets. Now this is the bulk of my screen recording. Again, initial replies will be people pointing out when I'm pointing out or supporting the ship. But eventually, there we go. A sickness, for real. There we go with the negative comments, people pointing out no one has a problem with Yato and Hiyori. This person in quote retweets trying to make it seem like homophobia when literally the same people who hate this hate other pro ships too. This person, I think, thinks pro ships stand for problematic ships. So no, because by that definition, all ships in this thread should be problematic, right? They all have an age gap between a 1,000-year-old god and a teenager. So why aren't all the ships in this thread getting that treatment? Let's keep going. Yep, more people pointing out what I'm pointing out. Yep, look at that. No, because everyone loves the 1,000-plus-year-old vampire and girl hetero ships and similar tropes, but if it's about boys and anime characters, suddenly it's a problem. Yep, exactly. So that's what I'm pointing out. Bruh. And here we go with the Megumi is literally 15. Y'all sick. Alright, some positive comments, I guess. This one was funny. Someone was pointing out how people are saying, you know, oh, the quote retweets are killing me. It's always, you're dirty, take care of your kids. And then the reply right under that was, you're dirty. That's all they have, so again, another girl is sick in the head. We don't hate it because it's gay. We hate the het ships like this too. Clearly not, because you weren't on the Yato and Hiyori quote retweets, were you? So, Yep, nope, I don't buy that. Let's keep going. Another, you're sick in the head. What? Acting all confused? I beg your pardon. All your little... You're a 30-year-old. Get a life. I'll get you out of there, Megumi. Like, what, you gonna save him? Love the little pro-shipper warning. Get off of JJK twit, you hag. Don't you have better things to do than ship some 1,000-year-old curse with a 15-year-old boy, you weirdo? Again, where were you on the Yato and Hiyori tweet? And all the other ones that were on there, because all those ships in that thread fit that dynamic. It better be what? Here we go, pointing out the age. 30 years old, don't you have taxes? Megumi's 15, what's wrong with people? What? You're 30 years old, get some critical thinking skills for real. 30 years old? You're a bunch of freaks, and I'm extremely tired of it. I'm tired of you. It better be nothing, because Megumi's 15, you weirdo. Someone else pointing out what I'm pointing out. Some positive comments up. Here we go. When Megumi is a whole 15-year-old, get some help. More people pointing out what I'm pointing out. I beg your pardon. Acting all clutching your pearls. Get your fainting couch. You mofos are so weird. You're literally 30. 30 years old and a pro shipper, a whole pedo. Here we go. Them tossing around the P word over this. Over someone replying to a thread with 2 characters that they felt fit this ship dynamic that the OP described. Huh? That's not confused. You're 30 years old. Go feed your kids. Ew, ew. You're disgusting. This was the tweet that I saw someone pointing it out, and this is what made me make this video, so thank you, person, for pointing that out. Oh, brother. Yeah, this is a reach. You're 30 years old. The bio speaks for itself. Reaction images. Free Megumi, like, y'all, he's not real, huh? Megumi's 15. Thank you. Oh, look, I'm a job, get a job, is what they're saying here. Megumi is 15, yep, we know. Google is free, we understand. He's 15, and here we go. Our first death threat. But if I tell you to kill yourself, I'ma be wrong. Yeah, you are. Oh, another death threat, kill yourself. Censored so that Twitter can't find it as easily. yeah, there you go. And in the interest of fairness, I will go through the replies and retweets of a heterosexual ship that did receive a few negative comments. This is Ren and Sesoharu from Inuyasha, a ship that recently became canon. So someone replied with this ship, 300, almost 400 likes, 13 quote retweets, we'll look at that. Someone calling it a pedo ship. That's all I could see. I don't know why there are 13 quote retweets. I could only see 2 of them. Someone was probably spamming on private. And then the other replies got hidden under here by Twitter. One person saying Rin is a child, and a couple people agreeing with them. And then the, calling it a borderline pedo ship, calling it grooming. And then the replies under that was just people kind of explaining the thing. The thing with this ship is that the characters first met when she was a little girl, and there's just currently disagreement in the fandom about if he raised her or not. He did take care of her briefly, and then she was raised by someone else. I don't know. It's a lot. Here's someone pointing this out. The creator herself said he was like a protector. How could he raise her if Rin didn't even spend a year with him? And the ages of these characters, she is human. She ages normally. When they first met, she was a little girl. He is some dog demon. He's a yokai or something. I don't know how old he is. He's probably hundreds of years old. So I'm just going to speed through the rest of this because it's just people kind of arguing like the semantics of the ship and of their interactions and of the storyline. So you can pause it and read at your leisure if you want. But aside from there had a few ships of people calling it a pedo ship or calling it grooming. But otherwise, it got a pretty good number of likes. Not quite the ratio that the Jujutsu Kaisen ship got. So that's a bit telling. That's it for this Twitter thread video capture, so let's talk about it. That was just me scrolling. You saw the number of likes, you saw all the replies and quote retweets that were publicly viewable and what those responses said, and it's pretty obvious to anyone with eyes that the gay ship was treated much differently compared to the other ships in the replies of that thread, even though they all had the same ship dynamic in common. Yes, one of the head ships got some negative responses too, but that ship had the additional element of Rin being quite a young child when she first met Sesomaru, and if she was a teenager when they first met, it probably wouldn't have gotten any flack at all. So let's compare Yato and Hiyori to Sukuna and Megumi because I think those two ships have the most basic similarities. Here are the characters' ages according to their Wikia bios. Yato is a 1,000-year-old god, Hiyori is a 16-year-old in her first year of high school, Sukuna is a 1,000-year-old cursed spirit, Megumi is a 15-year-old in his first year of high school. So I'm going to put these two ships and their age differences side by side and ask you this question. What is the difference between these two ships? Let's see. They each involve a character who's over 1,000 years old and an immortal of some sort. They each involve a human character who's 15 or 16 years old and a first year in high school. It's the same age difference. Any additional dynamics beyond that, like how well they get along in canon, is irrelevant because you can ship whatever you want, canon interactions aside, and headcanons and fanon exist. So why did the tweet about Yato and Hiyori receive only positive replies and praise and more likes, while the tweet about Sukuna and Megumi received negative replies and disapproval and less likes? And the correct answer is, what is homophobia, Alex? Before fanties jump down my throat, I am not saying fanties are terrible bigots. I know a lot of fanties are LGBT plus themselves, but internalized homophobia is a thing, and I think that's what's occurring here and is one of the reasons for this pattern in fandom. People see a ship between two men that's problematic and they react with disgust, but when it's a ship between a man and a woman that has the same dynamic, it doesn't bother fanties as much. Ships between two women are often left alone too, or are even shipped and praised by the same people who condemn the ship between two male characters. A good example of this is the ship Yumikuri from Attack on Titan. Ymir is technically over 60 years old, much older than Historia, but it's still a very popular, well-liked ship, and I really don't see any antis against it. The reasons for this may be because women-loving women relationships are galpaled a lot in media and in pop culture, and people don't take them as serious romantic relationships, and people may be subconsciously projecting this onto fictional women-loving women ships as well. All of this involves deeper discussions on internalized homophobia and how LGBT plus relationships are viewed, even by people who may be subconsciously viewing them in those ways. These are much more complicated discussions that are above my pay grade and that I don't have time for in this video, but if I can find some good Twitter threads or Tumblr posts on the topic, I will link them in the description below. And before people try to argue, well, that's just one example, I have a lot more examples, but I wanted to take advantage of this type of occurrence being laid out so clearly in a single Twitter thread. I may talk about this topic again in a future video because it happens quite often, Anyone who's been involved in observing this kind of fandom discourse can attest to this and has noticed these patterns also. Again, it's not a monolith. Occasionally a het ship or a lesbian ship is attacked for being problematic as well, but equally problematic gay ships are the ones that tend to be on the chopping block most of the time. And these gay ships receive harassment from all sides, from fanties who are maybe coming from a place of internalized homophobia, to anime dude bros who are coming from a place of blatant homophobia because they don't want to see gay ships in their precious shonen anime. The type of anime fanboys who maybe even try to argue that, well, that age gap is weird, or you're sexualizing minors, when they have no qualms about similar ships or not safe for work content involving the female characters. I pointed out examples of this before in previous videos. And that's it for this video. The issue in fandom of people attacking gay ships for dynamics that het ships also have is something I've been wanting to talk about, and when I saw the replies to that tweet, I knew I had to make this video because it was the perfect visual example of this topic. So thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a great day. Take care, everyone.